Okay, I'm going to show you the brioche stitch today. This is on a scarf that I'm making. The front side is this blue and green variegated. I'm calling it blue because I need to differentiate it from the yarn on the showing on the back side, which is definitely green. Hope you can see that. So the difference I want to show you is between doing the brioche stitch my normal way, throwing, or English knitting, where you hold the yarn with your right hand. And I am doing a salvage stitch, so I'm going to slip the first stitch on the beginning of the row. Do I slip it knitwise or purlwise? Well, on this side you can see that the blue, the main color, is making up the knit columns, so they are knit stitches on this side, so I'm going to slip it knitwise. Now we're going to start into the brioche, and I need to take the yarn to the front. I'm going to slip the next stitch, which you can see is a green stitch, kind of belongs to the other side is how I think of it. Then you need to bring the yarn over the needle to make a yarn over, but the next stitch is going to be a knit stitch. So as we knit it, you can see that it causes that yarn over to form with that green purl stitch. So that's what we're looking for. Again, you need to bring the yarn to the front, slip that purl stitch, and then knit from the yarn in the front to make that yarn over. And I think you can see, although this goes along, it's a little bit choppy, bringing up the yarn to the front, slipping and knitting. So what I discovered when I switched to Continental is that instead of bringing the yarn to the front, slipping, and then knitting, you just need to drop that tip of your right needle behind the yarn while you slip, and you can see just automatically you have that yarn over. So there are a few stitches, and again, instead of bringing it to the front and doing the yarn over, just take the tip of the needle, slip behind that yarn, slip your stitch, and you've got the yarn over. And then you do the knit stitch. I should say it's not really a knit when you're doing brioche and you're knitting together the yarn over and the stitch. They call it a brioche knit. They abbreviate it BRK, brioche knit. That seems obvious. But once people saw the BRK, they started calling it a bark. So that stitch is actually called a bark. And I'm getting to the end of the row. And once you reach the end, you do not turn the work because you're working with two colors. The green's over on this side. So you just slip over to the beginning again and you start to work with the green. That's why you need double pointed needles, or you can use circulars. Now the green on this side, you see blue knit columns here. That means the green are these sort of purl columns. So we're going to be purling with the green this time. Again, I'm slipping the first stitch. It's sort of a blue stitch, so we slip that all the way across. And then the first stitch is that green with the yarn over. Let me show you with the English method first in the right hand. And then you purl. Technically, oh, I better pick that up. Technically a brioche purl, abbreviated BRP. And they decided that looked like burp. So in brioche knitting you have bark stitches and you have burp stitches. Now we're going to slip this next stitch, because you're always sort of knitting one, slipping one. That's that blue column. And you need to put a yarn over with it, so you have to put the yarn to the front, to the back. But then your next stitch is a purl, so you need to bring it around to the front of the work so you can purl. So again, slip it, make the yarn over, bring it to the front, and then burp that next stitch. And I found that extremely, even worse than the knit row, very choppy and slow. I was constantly looking at my work. So let me show you what I can do with the Continental style. Switch that over to my left hand. Again, with the slipping, you just need to tuck your right needle behind that yarn and slip the next stitch, and you get the yarn over. Now, instead of bringing this to the front and doing a purl, I like to do the Norwegian purl, where you catch the yarn in the back, you slip the needle through the stitches to do that burp or brioche purl, and then you put your needle around, catch that yarn, bring it through the stitch, and you've made a purl stitch. Again, just tucking it behind and slipping the next one, and then this Norwegian purl, slip it behind, put it into the stitches, come around and catch that yarn and make your purl stitch. And you get a lot more needle movement with it instead of yarn movement, but I find that that goes much smoother and it's got a good rhythm to it instead of being choppy. Let's see. So that's just what I wanted to demonstrate. Doing Continental, I find the brioche stitch a lot quicker, smoother, easier to do. I won't do the whole row for you, but you can see as you work across, you get the brioche pattern with the blue knit stitches on this side and the green knit stitches on that side. It's so lovely, double-sided. I'm doing it with pretty large needles, so this is a nice loose weave. I didn't want a really warm scarf, and this will be plenty warm even with how airy it is.